We are back after impromptu bye week. We are here. Most of us are here. Ken is still out ill, so y'all keep him up. Y'all keep him up in your prayers and your thoughts. Send him some good energy. The man is not feeling well, but we here. We're gonna have a good show, so ain't no reason for us to delay any longer. Let's go ahead and get right on into it. Welcome to episode 296 of Technical File, the sports podcast you never knew you needed.
And it's your boy, TIMKINZ, the number 3, a.k.a. Ass Ketchum, a.k.a. Mr. Give It To Me. What up, though? It's been a minute. I know y'all missed me. Go ahead,
I'm
smile.
the Eric J.
Only known as
The Eric J.
And I'm Camille, point guard of the crew, the real life Tifa Lockhart, the girl next door. You know, holding it down for all the women who love sports. And as mentioned, K. Harris, the gentleman, is not here this week. So we gonna carry on without our brother. I'm gonna just read this because Tim is in our group chat being flagrant to Ken because Ken ain't here. This man just texted in the Tech File group chat, quote, "If you weren't playing with booty in the hay, maybe you'd be okay. Just came to mind for some reason." End quote.
Like, it's even better, like, to not even provide context.
Nope,
like,
that's all you need to know. That's all you need to know about
that
that.
type of stuff they be saying.
That's what goes on in our group chat. Stuff like that. Right. As I say, week in and week out, if you have not already, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube page. Make sure you hit that notification bell, bing, so that you can be alerted to when we go live, because we are live every Tuesday around 6:45-ish p.m. We hit about that 7 p.m. mark today.
7:05.
We had some technical difficulties that were not our fault. We were here on time.
Some of us were.
We would have been here. It started at 6:45.
Talk to the lights. Talk to the lights, okay? I got distracted.
But the point is, make sure that y'all hit that noti bell so that you can know when we go live.
Speaking of bells, can you hear me that?
The Tech File.
This motherfucker starting to age like the way it looked.
Like our old bell before we had
Like when we got it brand new, it was like, okay, this is supposed to be older looking. But
I
it's
see what
all
you're saying.
clean. But now it's like you starting to look your age.
Looks like it's from the 70s.
Like it's supposed to.
But yeah, make sure y'all subscribe to the YouTube page. As always, I'm going to also say this too, because we don't do a good enough job of promoting it ourselves. Get your merch.
Please.
Get your merch.
Check our link tree. Link. Anything you can need Tech File related is going to be held within that link. Links to where you can catch the show, links to the YouTube, links to the merch. So make sure y'all do that. Links to all our social medias. Like, go ahead and hit that link. Get y'all some merch. Especially before football season. We got the hashtag Black Quarterback shirts.
Black quarterback.
Man.
So make sure I get those. I got to order mine still, actually.
Same.
Sport fact of the week.
We were gone for 2 weeks. Well, I was gone for 3. But we were gone for 2 weeks. So I got 2 of them. First one, June 5th, 2008.
Okay.
Paul Pierce had his iconic wheelchair moment in Game 1 of the NBA Finals.
I think he shit himself.
Paul Pierce said,
Only shit I did was on the Lakers.
And Ken ain't even here for that one to hit.
It Ducci is. It's good.
Good enough.
The second one's actually on this day, so June 6th, 77 years ago, the NBA was founded.
Oh.
Happy birthday, NBA.
Bow, bow, bow.
Happy birthday. Okay.
They ain't even hit 100 yet. That's fine.
Young league. Young league.
Honestly, I feel like the 75th anniversary was last year.
Well, consider it 77 today.
I know. I'm just saying.
mean, it kind of was. Yeah.
Woo, boy, that's the kind of show this gonna be.
That's kind of how math
Excuse my
works.
language.
The game that needs a name, y'all want to get a round in this week?
Sure.
Okay.
Why not?
You got any topic ideas for us? Since you're
Hell
so dumb?
no. To the no.
Have we ever done countries?
I
we
will
may have.
embarrass myself, but we can.
Ah,
We can.
damn. Okay.
You can start
I'm
E
gonna
since
just pick a corner of the world and work my way out from there.
slides in the comment just says sigh. Paul Pierce.
I mean, that could just be the tagline of this podcast.
Right.
Lay side.
All right. Game that needs a name.
Ken ain't here, so I'll give him the obligatory. Fuck Paul Pierce.
Rapid fire game in case people are unfamiliar. We go around, so it's gonna go Eric, then Tim, then myself. We're gonna try to name countries until we can't no more.
Holy shit.
We get about 5 seconds each to do so, and you can't repeat. All right, let's embarrass myself. Let's go. Kick us off, Eric.
Argentina,
Iran.
Nigeria.
Chile,
Afghanistan.
already. Bolivia,
Cambodia.
Uruguay,
Bangladesh.
Paraguay.
North America.
That's why I started laughing, because I was going to say North America,
God damn.
and I stopped myself.
God damn.
That's what I was going to do.
I'm looking dead at it, dude. I'm like, in my mind, I see the whole shit. I knew I was not trying to say. It was one of those things. You said thinking about it the whole time. Don't say North America. Don't say North
That's
America.
why I just laughed and let me lose. Hey, fam, I
God dang, dog.
Hey, I had to lose with some dignity here. I didn't want to say North America. Y'all was killing it though. Y'all had a
I had more.
You was killing it in Central Asia. You was like jumping around.
Shut it, Sly. Hey, I made a mistake.
You know, just reminded me of those, like when you used to like read off the countries and say hi
And
their
they
languages.
language.
I say I in Icelandic.
Shit.
hi. Who picked the music last week? Or the last time we were here?
I think it was
Wasn't me.
Eric. Wasn't it Blue
No.
Steel last time?
I wasn't here.
No, last time we picked music.
Yeah, because we weren't all together to pick before. We did a
Oh, yeah,
online one.
Was it?
We weren't in the studio for the last one we did together. So I think you did pick last. Tim, what's piquing your interest this week in our background music?
Perpetual suplex.
Where are the all right. We're gonna get into the show. NBA heavy this week. Not a surprise given where we currently are.
In
Just
the sports calendar.
exactly. Little NFL news, some PGA news came out. We're gonna talk about that. And then
Scoundrels.
and end with some news about EA Sports college football video game. So let's go
Man,
ahead
they've been
go ahead
teasing
and
that shit for like 5 years.
man, I feel like it's been forever. But yeah,
Forever.
let's get into the show. Do we got some whistles? Is the ref going?
He lost it.
Nope, I got it.
Okay, he
About to tweet.
dust it off, ref.
Tweet.
God damn.
My fault, nigga.
I only got headphones on. I heard that.
My fault.
The last part of that whistle was aggressive.
Almost took me out over here.
That's how it sounds when you be yelling in our ear.
Woo.
You gonna wish I was yelling if that whistle took me out.
All right.
My heart.
That ref said y'all was talking all that yig yak.
That was the ref blowing the whistle on Tim for that text.
Let's start with the NBA Finals. Currently, the series between the Miami Heat and the Denver Nuggets is tied 1-1. Although we did not record an episode last week before the series kicked off, the Tech File crew did come together. We put together, who we had coming out of this series. 3 of us on this show picked Denver to win the series, and 1 picked Miami. How are you feeling about the finals thus far, Mr. Miami Heat winning the NBA championship?
It's gonna be a good finals, I think. It's gonna be a lot of punches. So again, like
We already got 2 games in, so
right, with 2
What was
games
your,
in, so
I guess first day, what was your pick? Like,
Miami in 6.
there you go.
sticking with what I've said throughout the playoffs.
He has to be consistent.
The team that beat us needs to beat everybody. It's the only reason why y'all beat us, because y'all beat everybody. But
shit, at this point.
number two, like as I was watching them, because after we lost to them, I just started paying attention to them. Like as I was watching the Heat, like yeah, they may have those game or two where they might shoot like shit,
But they are who we thought they were.
but then in the playoffs, it's kind of different, kind of flip it. Like
They don't give
when
up.
they are shooting, you like we are who they thought we. Yeah, shit. What he said, but
I was trying to find a stat, but essentially, like to that point, like in their wins, they're shooting like 46, 47% from three, which is
Crazy.
unheard of.
Yeah.
Like as a team.
so I figured. Plus, watching the role players actually continuously step up each and every game, it was just like these cats might be like legit. The only thing is they small.
That was why I was like, I don't know how they're gonna combat that. But in game 2, when they brought Kevin Love out, and I was like, I know they gonna put Kevin Love on Jokic, and they did not. Put him right on Aaron Gordon. I said,
Give him a little old man strength.
right. Because Aaron Gordon was just bullying his way through whoever they put in front of him in game 1. Like it didn't matter because no one on the Heat, well, who was in their rotation was over like 6'5". Like they were all just small individuals.
But I'm
Nope.
cheeks.
Hey, what up,
What's
Mark?
up, Mark? Mark's in the comments. What's
Yo.
up, man? But yeah, the size advantage for the Denver Nuggets was part of why I picked them in this series. On top of that, like they have just looked outstanding, and you saw in game 1 when everything was working perfectly for them. Their offense, they just don't attack you the same way consistently. Like it's different every time. They have such good off-ball movement. They have good shooters. They got Jamal Murray who can pop like crazy when he's hot. Them putting Jimmy on him, great.
You knew Jimmy was gonna take him.
They didn't start that way, but then as the game was like, put Jimmy on Jamal Murray, like this makes sense. And Jokic is just going to be Jokic. Like there's the argument of turning him into a scorer and making him score to beat you, but let me tell you something. The Nuggets still almost won that game, and part of, in my opinion, why they lost game 2 was more so they just had too many defensive lapses. Where you just like, what are y'all doing? Why are y'all both getting picked in this pick? Both of y'all following the roller. What is going on here?
KCP following 3-point shooters.
Like, just too many mental mistakes. And if they can clean that up, like, I still feel very confident in my pick.
Before I even get to my analysis, can I just say it's annoying, like how after every game, it's like the world is falling. Or, you know, like it's such a swing. Like after game 1, it's like, sweet man, who's gonna beat the Nuggets? They're gonna be a dynasty. They're the new Warriors. Blah blah blah. And then after game 2, it's like, well, Jokic is Jokic, but the rest of that team, they're just
They ain't got nobody. They ain't got nobody over there that can put a ball in the bucket.
right.
Y'all shut up.
Like it's draining. I swear to God. Like I think I pointed that out like first round with the Lakers series specifically is like
Yep.
after the Lakers win, they planning a parade.
This the year.
Right. After a loss is, you know, LeBron needs to hang it up and AD is not a closer and blah. It's exhausting. So if you don't want to hear shit like that, come and check that out.
Yeah,
Pretty
I
much.
would say just be honest about the way you feel about it. Shit, tell them how you feel, even if they don't like it. Somebody do.
I don't. Okay. I don't, sure. That was vaguely in the realm of what we were talking about.
It was. Speak your truth. Bro.
Anyway, this series, game 1, I'll admit I was still jet lagged, so I don't know what the hell happened in that game. But it was notable that for as good as Denver's offense looked, they only scored 104 points.
Mhm.
So I think the takeaway from Miami after that game is that, you know, like we can keep this team's offense under wrap. Like allowing 104 points in the NBA game in 2023, like that's a winnable game. You know what I mean? And like I know they had a bunch of live ball turnovers. So Denver got out in transition and really, you know, hurt them there. Mm-hmm. They cleaned a lot of that up in game 2. Mm-hmm. I know like throughout the game, it was just like, you know, Denver led for the better part of it, especially like after that high start by Miami. Yeah. But they never like created separation. And if I know anything from this Miami Heat playoff run is that you can't let them hang around.
They don't give up.
Boy,
They do
if
not
They
give
in a
up.
game, bro. You got a game.
And like they let them hang around. They let them hang around. Duncan Robinson went crazy for the first minute of the fourth quarter. Scored 8 straight points. Gave him a mean mug. It's worse than Giannis's, which is very hard to do. And then like Jimmy was everywhere defensively. Bam was everywhere defensively. I mentioned when you mentioned the talk of make Jokic a scorer. Like I feel like that's reductive, but what they did is like they clogged the passing lanes. Like it by default makes him a scorer, but it's not like you're just like go get your points.
Right?
No,
Jokic,
still get him.
he's still carrying them.
Shut off everybody else's water. Make sure that you're there on like his kick out passes, then force it to be where his best option is scoring. Because I think it was Steve Kerr that said on the Draymond Green podcast, he's like, Jokic is gonna be Jokic regardless.
He'll
like,
get his, bro.
You can devote all the resources you want to trying to stop him, but in reality, Jamal Murray is the head of that snake. Like if you can shut off Jamal Murray, you can kind of clog up things enough to where like Jokic can only do so much damage individually. Like he scored 40. It was like he scored 100 and whatever. You know what I mean? Like so like again, it's not make him a scorer, but it's just like take care of everybody else. Like let the star do what they're gonna do, and like devote your resources elsewhere. Because it's kind of like you're fighting a losing battle if you're just trying to like stop Jokic, because there is no way to stop Jokic.
Him. Not completely. Like he's gonna have something in this game. Because one thing used to make me mad when I watched the Bucks and Nuggets matchup, we would double Jokic, and I'm like, why are we doubling him? Like now he passes so well. What are we doing? And the role players in Denver, when they can catch in rhythm, like it's easy. It's real easy. And that's one thing about watching Jokic play basketball too, especially as a Bucks fan, where it's like everything comes easy to him. It looks like nothing is like difficult for Jokic. Everything is how he wants it to go. It's in his speed, it's his control. And then you watch Giannis, and it's like an unrelenting force of nature that is just like willing his way on the game, and it looks difficult every single time. But no, that man Jokic he is nice, and it's crazy how many people are coming out the woodworks now and being like, the league should do a better job of promoting him.
Bro, shut up. Y'all didn't even want to vote for him 3 times. Y'all like, I don't feel like he deserved it over in Denver. Like stupid stuff like that. Joker been cold, bro.
Racial bias.
Tim has been saying Jokic has been cold on this
He's
show.
been cold
for at least 4 years. Tim has been
he's been cold for a long time, bro.
Saying this.
And the funny thing about Jokic is that, like you said, it's not even just the way that he maintains, it's the way he does it. It's weird. Like he's just throwing his weight around. like I want to go this way. Let me lean into you real quick. Roll off your shoulder. Excuse me. Next thing you know, he's throwing it above his head while he's looking the opposite direction. It's in the bucket, all net. Like what the fuck?
Or he's going over his head, and it's an assist. You're like, how did you see him behind?
Give you a shimmy shake one way, the ball flying opposite. You be like, bro, wide open. He already up the court. Like what the fuck, bro? Like it's wild.
Going back to your point, like Jokic dominates in his way, Giannis dominates in his way. Like that's the beauty of basketball. It's like there's so many different ways to skin a cat, and it's like so like all the talk of like it's all about layups and threes. It's like there's so much beauty in basketball. Like you shouldn't be trying to force everything into one mold. You know what I mean? Like I don't know. That's just my little soapbox moment. But
I agree. I love the mid range.
To answer your original question about like how do I feel about my pick, I picked Denver in 7. Just because I was too cowardly to pick Miami. I wanted to. I was almost there. And like honestly, if Tim had picked Denver, I would be like, let me get Miami. But I wanted to have like some level of
logic.
Yeah. I couldn't get there. Like my heart was like, it's Miami. I just got a gut feeling about it. But logically, like I see the benefits, like the advantages that Denver has, namely Jokic, like the size discrepancy. Which I mean, like it didn't hurt them necessarily against the Bucks. Like they were the undersized team there. Granted, the Bucks don't really utilize their size all the time,
right? It's different with in Denver.
But yeah, I mean, like it's been a good chess match so far. Honestly.
Absolutely,
like just 2 really locked in coaching staffs. Sorry. Another tangent. I don't like the vibes of Michael Malone. I can't even really put my finger on why. It's just like every time he talks, I'm like, man, shut up. Like, let's work through this. Like I don't know why, but I want to figure it out. Because it's like,
let's figure it out.
Let me see if I can find like a press conference with him or something.
After game 2, you know, he's like, I don't know. It just feels like a persecution complex or something. Like, he had a point, but like after the Lakers series, where it's just like everybody only want to talk about the Lakers, we don't get no respect. Blah blah blah.
Right.
It's like
first time you say it, we all be like, okay, yeah, you got a point.
It's like, y'all number 1 seed, you got 2-time MVP. Like, granted, like you don't get a lot of attention.
Not talking about it, like Milwaukee.
But it's like people that know. Like, it's not like anybody was like, yeah, let me get the Nuggets. Like,
it was some people, they don't watch them like that.
Nobody in the league. Like, that's the thing that Drew Holiday always talks about. He's like, I don't really care about the media attention. It's like people that play the game, like, they know. Like, everybody knows I'm nice. Like, nobody wants me to guard them. Like, that's the type of respect that I need. Like, I don't need necessarily like all defensive team. I don't need defensive player of the year. Like, if my peers are talking about like I'm nice, then I'm nice. Like, that's all I really need. Like, to me, it's like that's the only real validation that you need. Because like people don't know what the fuck they talking about. Like, they really don't. So if you're not getting the attention from the media, like, do you really want ESPN talking about your team? Like, we talked about this before. Like, if ESPN is talking about your team, more than likely it's for some bullshit that don't have anything to do with successful basketball.
And we've talked about that, the way that channel in particular in NBA media covers the league and how different that coverage is than how media members cover the NFL, for example, where everything is highlighted. They can make 2 and 6 teams facing each other feel like the biggest game, and you'd be like, oh, I'm gonna tune into this. But in NBA, even I think they had a segment today where he's talking about who's harder to guard, Jokic or Steph Curry, and it's like, why are we talking about that right now? That's an off-season type of question. Like, right now, let's talk about who's playing.
We are in a tied series with 2 phenomenal games so far, and the biggest story of the week is LeBron James and Kyrie Irving, or some shit that's never going to happen. We'll get there, and I don't want to derail the conversation, but like that's just that's the point. And like, we didn't talk last week, but another annoying thing was people like worried about the ratings. It's like
everybody care about ratings now.
Like, why does anybody outside of like the advertising executives for ESPN care give a single solid fuck about the ratings of the NBA finals? Granted, like through 2 games, like they're pretty much on par with the ratings from last year's finals.
Yep.
So it hasn't even been an issue. But like, oh, should we want a Miami-Denver finals? Like, that would be terrible for NBA ratings. It's like, what the fuck does this have to do with, like, if it's a good series, people will watch it. People will tune in.
And to that point, like you said, the first 2 games of this series have been phenomenal. Like the back and forth, the action, especially if you're a basketball fan and watching these 2 teams that are very well coached with coaches that are making adjustments in game and they are trying to checkmate the other. You seeing it. Where it's like,
see this shit.
The start of game 2, the group chats, and they're like, oh yeah, like here come Miami. Like they came out hungry. First quarter ends, like, also on a 3-point game. Second quarter, here comes the Nuggets on a huge run. You just sitting there like, dang. Third quarter's even. Fourth quarter, back and forth. And here come the Heat on their run. You just kind of like, are they about to do it again? Are they about to do it again? You get Jamal Murray with a chance to tie the game to an overtime at the end. Mm-hmm. Like, you can't ask for, like, the games have been entertaining. They're talented dudes on both sides of the ball here.
Even in that, I mean, speaking to that, even with the last shot, you got the ball into the hands of the one guy on the court. Everybody like, that motherfucker might hit that shit. So you kind of like, ooh.
And to Mark's point in the comments, we want a good series, and it has been for 2 games. And that's all you can ask for. Forget it, the teams. As long as the matchup is good, like, I'm here for it.
And how do you build new stars that will be ratings drivers in the future? Is you highlight them when they're on TV. Like, you actually pay attention to them. You tell their story. Like, people are just now discovering who Jokic is, despite him being a multi-time MVP, you know, all perennial NBA. All-NBA, perennial all-star. Like, but as ESPN, it's like, oh, this dude is cold. He probably gonna be here for some years. Maybe let's tell his story. Maybe let's introduce him to people. Use this as a platform to build a new star. So that then you have your ratings draw for the next
it's the Vince
5 to 10
bro.
years.
You only can build one at a time. One at a time. Everybody else building on their own.
Man, my mom is. Remember we had the conversation some time ago about household names in the NBA who everybody knows. She's a very casual basketball watcher. You know, she watches the Bucks, but she saw Jokic not before the finals in the last series against the Lakers, and she was like, "Who was that real good dude on Denver?" And I said, "The little one or the big one?" She goes, "The big one." And I was like, "Oh, that's Nikola Jokic." And she goes, "Girl, I don't know about him. He kind of give me some Rocky IV vibes." So she refers to him just as Rocky IV. I know what she means. She's like, Rocky IV be hoping. I was like, he do.
Shout out to you for not seeing race, because you could have easily said the black one or the white one.
I could have. I said the tall one or the big one. Yeah, the tall one or the little one. The Rocky IV. I was like, if he dies, he dies? She said, yes, him. But real quick, I did find a clip of Mike Malone after they lost. It's very quick. It's about 12 seconds of him being in the locker room trying to hype up his guys. So, would this get you hype, Eric? I'm just curious to know.
Find a way to go down to Miami Wednesday night and still want that and regain home court advantage in the NBA Finals, which is what we're going to do. We're going to play harder than that, and we're going to be more disciplined than that.
Okay, Mike. Like that doesn't inspire
Does it move
anything
you?
in me.
I'm sure he had more than that.
It sounds like Howard Dean when he's like, we're gonna go to Alabama, we're gonna go to Mississippi. Like,
But I mean, y'all still gave you more life. Still gave you some.
I forgot about the y'all.
It gave you some uplifting. Like you just.
I forgot.
we're gonna go to Miami and we're gonna play harder and we're gonna play better and we're gonna not turn the ball over and we're gonna win it.
Yeah, no. But he's a good
Maybe it goes back to like when he was like really snippy with the sideline reporter. My name is Michael.
No, it could have been that. Everyone in the comments,
Hurt my throat doing it.
Woo. Okay. Any other thoughts on this series? I said Denver in 6 for my initial prediction. I hope it goes 7, just because these teams, like, it's just been really fun to watch it. I think Denver gets one in Miami.
Sorry.
I mean, the thing is, like, it's hard to analyze this stuff because, again, like to that point about like Miami shooting in the games they won, like you can't predict a 50% 3-point shooting game. Like
63s.
No,
Wow,
Miami only take like 25, and they'll make
14,
15 of them. You be like, good Lord. Like,
and they'll make it feel like they're not missing.
and that's the thing that's why Denver can't have defensive lapses. When they came on in game 1, what impressed me the most was that they were locked in defensively. Like I wasn't sure if it was going to be a rust versus rest game where it's like, which side are y'all on? Are y'all well rested? Y'all gonna come out and hoop? Or y'all rusty because y'all didn't hoop in a week? They came out ready to go. They was playing good defense. And I was like, if they play defense, like they got a chance in this series. They gonna score.
And like one thing, last point. I was listening to a podcast yesterday. People like analyzing the game and whatnot. And like at some point we have to kind of start giving Miami their respect and disrespect, which is we talk about like, oh, you know, it's different when the team isn't just handing them wins, you know, like Boston down the stretch, like they can't execute down the stretch and they turn the ball over and they don't. And that's my point. It's like
why weren't they
Miami
executing then?
It's the same thing as the Bucks. It's like down the stretch they just like completely fell apart. It's like maybe the opponent has something to do with like if it's consistent across like
series
at
this point.
Like they broke down like their point differential throughout the playoffs. It's like -1 in the first quarter, -11 second quarter, -20 something in the third, and it's like +22 in the fourth. It's like
it took them 3 quarters, but they figured it out.
But like that's what I was saying about like if they just keep it close, like they kind of
you got to be about like 15, 20 on these motherfuckers, bro.
Michael Porter Jr. though, good Lord. Game 1, defensively, he was not scoring the ball, but game 2 he fell apart. And I'm like, they got to figure that out because I mean, good. It's just
Christian Brown time.
Who y'all know I was high on coming into I'm watching this kid in the finals and I'm just smiling like
the motherfucker is strong, bro.
He hustled. Like he got that hustle on him.
He called Dante.
Facts. We're gonna have a Michael. We need to have I want to have a Michael Porter Jr. game because they are putting all these little dudes on him and he can just shoot over them. It's just that the shot is not falling for him. But I feel like a game is gonna happen where it's like they are finally dropping.
He kind of has the profile of a guy that kind of falls apart.
Mhm.
The big like
Mm.
give me real strong Harrison Barnes vibes, where it's like the lights might be a little too bright for him.
Hopefully, he's getting used to him.
Right.
His eyes are adjusting.
I can easily see us coming back next week. It'll be like, oh, he set the NBA record for most threes in the finals game. It's like, yeah,
I can see that too,
Yeah.
though. Like,
Either
but like
way,
with the way that he's played through 2 games, it's kind of like
game 1 was the
you nice, but like it's always been something just kind of missing from like
the
him
sauce.
completely putting it together.
I feel it. Well, game 3 in the NBA Finals is tomorrow, Wednesday. Looking forward to watching that.
Oh dang, I ain't like we scheduled that thing for tomorrow. I ain't even consider that.
That's okay. It ain't gonna take us too long.
Teacher.
Let's talk some NBA coaching news. Before I get there, Shells in the comments just wanted to add that MPJ is so streaky.
yes.
That's a fact, Jack. A Snapple fact, almost. Coaching news. So, 1, 2, 3, 4 of the teams that had coaching vacancies have found their next head coach. The only one that is still searching at the moment is Toronto.
I think Toronto just got like a fetish for being the one to kind of be in control of the NBA because like the trade deadline was the same thing. It's like, what's Toronto gonna do? Like now it's the coaching thing. Like, what's Toronto gonna do?
I feel like they don't even know what they're gonna do for their coach. They
Right.
kind of just like, oh,
They right don't know what they're gonna do with trades either. Like,
They got such a interesting
Hey,
team
Fred.
up there.
hey Fred, you coming back?
I don't know.
Let's go.
Fred might be in Houston. But anyway, that's what we're talking about right now. What we're talking about right now is some coaching hires. In Milwaukee, we have hired Adrian Griffin, who most previously served as the assistant coach in Toronto with the Raptors under Nick Nurse. Funny thing about that, we knew that the finalists were between Nick Nurse, Adrian Griffin, and Kenny Atkinson.
Mhm.
And reports started coming out, and it's like, oh, they're leaning towards Griffin. And then it's like Nick Nurse has pulled himself out of consideration. I'm like,
Pulled out because they told me he wasn't getting a job.
right. They said between Adrian and Kenny. And he said, you know what, I'm pulling my name.
Fire me because I quit.
All right.
Pretty much. Big energy like that. But we have our new head coach in Milwaukee. It was a great, they had a very thorough process, apparently. Interviewed like 20 different candidates. They were going to see him in person. They were doing film, having to meet the people in the organization. And Adrian Griffin rose to the top of the crop. How are y'all feeling about that coaching hire here in Milwaukee?
I have literally nothing based. I have no idea. I did watch his introductory press conference.
Mhm.
I'll give him a little bit of leeway. Right, like he doesn't address the media that often. It's his first time. Probably was a little nervous. Wasn't all that impressed, to be quite honest.
Interesting.
Just like his command of
the-
like it didn't again like the Michael Malone point. It didn't
Inspire
inspire
you,
me at
yeah.
all. But like maybe he's better in a one-on-one situation. So like I'm definitely still going in with an open mind. But it's just like I have nothing to base anything off of.
We don't know.
It did. I think I mentioned this in our group chat, but it felt like kind of like an overcorrection to like losing Darvin Ham last year. Like I know Bobby Portis tweeted out like
That's
that
what
was
they
an
missed.
underrated part of their season is that they really missed Darvin Ham. And like I can easily see, going through the process and the players all being like, "Yo, we need a former player. We need somebody that connects with us on that level." Didn't really have that in a prominent role on the coaching staff this year. Now something that we were really missing. So like, it may be overcorrection is like
Too strong of a
too
word.
strong of a word, but like maybe I think that probably weighed really heavily in the process,
Of their next
especially coming from like if you look at their last couple of coaching hires, like Jason Kidd, former player, like that ain't really work. We need somebody that's a little bit more
established.
Yeah. So then they bring in Mike Budenholzer. He doesn't have like the gravitas of the former player, so then they swing back in that direction. But yeah, I mean, we'll see. Like it's a new era. Like the more I've thought about it, it's like, this is a time for a fresh breath. Really, like I've said for the last couple of years, like the Bucks are only excited for like 2 months a year because it's like 3 months, I guess. Fingers
Towards the end
crossed.
of the year.
Where it's April, May, June when it's playoff time because that they're not doing anything at the draft because they rarely
got
ever
no
have a
picks.
draft pick. They're they don't really have in-season drama like that. Trade deadline, they may make 1 or 2 moves, but it's not like you're trading any of their big three. So it's only so much they can really do at that point. So it's really boring until you get to the playoffs and you have a year like this year where the playoffs are like what we can have. And it's like, oh,
Whoa.
well, That was a bit of a letdown.
What
So
a big letdown.
right, but like now, you know, your new coaching staff coming in, like the role players will probably change a little bit because they'll change up the tactics that they want to do. So we'll hopefully see a little bit of excitement over the next couple of months. It's been missing the last few years.
How you
So
feeling?
with you, I didn't really know too much about like his coaching profile or anything like that. No, knowing that he was an assistant, knowing that he played with the Bucks, things like that. But I was reading his. The question was, "What is your brand of basketball?"
That's the question I want the answer to.
He's a defensive-minded
Yep.
coach, very defensive-minded. Like, just taking away from what he's saying, like, we're gonna get out, we're gonna pressure the ball, we're gonna turn our defense into offense. We're not gonna let the offense get us. The other team's offense get us. We'll get the high percentage shots in the paint. Then those threes will be open, but we're not gonna put a cap on the threes. But a lot of the excitement or the words were more in the defensive category as opposed to the offense, you know, because, yeah, we do got special talent on this team, but I think more so I'm excited to see what the offense looks like. Because we have, at the moment, depending on how it shakes out, but we still have a really good defensive team.
Mhm.
So I thought about Kenny because of the fact that I'm like, okay, he didn't been with these high offenses. He didn't been with these high profile players, high offense, like offensive minded players too, like offensive minded coaches, things like that. Yeah, cool. We came from Bud Tree, we do things defensively. But I wanted to see a creative offense. Not saying that he can't do it. Not saying that he can't, because
No,
we
I feel
don't
you.
know.
And to your point about that, when I saw that, you know, I was hired, well, I hope what he does is he hires an experienced assistant coach that is more offensive minded. And apparently Terry Stotts is coming on, and that fits the profile of exactly like, here's an offensive guy,
Mm-hmm.
has some experience. He coached the Bucks himself
Mm-hmm.
for some years.
Success.
Welcome back to Adrian Griffin too, because
Yeah,
he started
right.
his coaching career as an assistant for the Bucks.
Yeah, definitely hit that hard in press conference.
Didn't he? Full circle. Full
10
circle.
years ago before it started.
We know. But that's what I want to see, like the staff get built. And in the press conference, the word that struck out to me that Coach Griffin said was that, you know, he values creativity. And I was like, I want to see what that looks like for this team, because he was saying, like, I'm not coming in here to completely change the foundation. The foundation here is, the bones are good.
Mm-hmm.
I just see some things I can tweak here and tweak here and tweak there to make us more effective. And we know in the playoffs it's a game of inches. It's just little things you got to do. And that's what I needed to hear. Like that. And again, we don't know because we've never seen him coach before. But there are a lot of people who are excited about him finally getting his head coaching gig. Giannis was a big fan of his, which, cool. We know
You got
Giannis
buy-in from him. Like,
right. You get buy-in from our superstar. You got my buy-in off top. So I'm just excited now that we have our coach. We can look forward to seeing how that roster coaching staff gets filled out, and then see how the roster gets filled out as well. So
That's what my interest is at, because we have an interesting year this year. So I'm real curious as to how our roster will fill out.
I don't think they have that many options. That's the problem. But
That's what I'm saying. It's real interesting because either you let them stay or you gotta go.
and if they go, it's like,
Like,
what
oh,
you gonna do?
who's gonna come back in? Well, we can't really bring nobody else back
We
in
ain't
at
got no
their
money.
level because we ain't got their money.
that's why I'm like, earlier when we were having the conversation around like Bud and what might happen, I was like, I could see him getting fired because this team is probably going to remain largely the same. The easiest change they can make is at the coach position. So we'll see if they run it back. Early reports are saying that, you know, the league officials are saying it's looking like Chris is coming back. So, hey, that big three still there. Hopefully with that core with Brooke coming back as well. But we're going to see. Nick Nurse, he reached an agreement to become the next coach of the Philadelphia 76ers.
Philly.
Him and Embiid have
Hey,
had some
aggressive
words
there.
over the years. See, now they got, I don't know how that's going. His personality type of just being a very like yelly, combative is a great word. Fiery personality type. I'm curious to see how that's going to work in Philly. And also I'm curious to see if he's going to be playing Embiid like 40 minutes in January, because
You want James Harden back?
he said it, he want to win.
That's not the question.
I mean, it's not his call though.
That
And-
shit was hilarious.
like this. First of all, that reporter was an asshole.
He
Like
was.
you asked him a question, he's answering, and then you just cut him off. Do you want James Harden back? Like what?
And he was
Philly
cold about
media.
it. He was cold about it. That wasn't the question. Do you want James Harden back? That question, answer that. God damn.
Like, you know how quickly I'd be like, who the fuck are you? Like, that's why I couldn't be it.
Hey, him no more. Him no more.
Right, like,
Him no more.
right. Get his ass out of here. Like, I'm a head coach of this basketball team. Like, I got some sway around here. It just, I'm just saying, like, who the fuck?
Sheldon
Who the
agrees with
fuck
you.
is that guy?
But
Yeah, I don't know. Like, good luck, nigga.
how I feel with most of these coaching hires, it's like we just. How do I want to say this?
Carousel? This is real carousel this time?
We have reached the point in the NBA where there is a greater level of parity than what we have seen in years past. There are many teams who believe that they should be winning a championship, but only one team can actually do that. There are a lot of good coaches in the league. They're not perfect, but there are a lot of good coaches. If you actually look at the finals matchup with Miami and Denver, those are two head coaches who at various times were like, I should fire him. And the teams were like, no, we're going to hold on to him because they're a good coach. And now you see them in the finals. You see the coaching acumen between the two of them. And looking at the landscape, it's like Bud was fired. Monty was fired. Nick Nurse was fired. Doc was fired. Again, none of them are perfect coaches, to say the least. But they're all good coaches.
3 of them got rings. The fourth took his team to the finals 2 years ago.
And then you have someone like Frank Vogel who got the job in Phoenix, who also has a ring but got fired, where it's like he got fired because the team that y'all put together didn't make sense.
Mm-hmm.
It's not his fault. It's not his fault. And I feel like the coaching we are moving too fast, and it's all because of these teams. Like, we gotta win a championship, and I don't like what that is doing to the coaches in the league, because a little patience can go a long way. But again, these teams are on these clocks where it's like, I have a championship window of only this much.
But it's everybody trying to save their own ass. Like, it's the GM that's like,
there you go.
He put together a
That's a
flawed
good point.
team, and then your team gets bounced, and it's like, you're
Coach
not gonna
gotta
fire
go.
yourself. So he ain't coached these dudes.
I've done wrong. I gotta go. I can't take it. It's my fault.
Or the owner don't want to spend, and then like they put out a flawed roster, and it's like, well, the owner ain't gonna fire himself, so who does it fall on? Like, look at it this way: if the Bucks had known after the first round that Miami would be 3 wins away from a championship, would they still look at it the same way, or would they look at, like, at the time it's just once he got upset by an 8. Now it's, oh, you lost to a team that's in the finals, like, that might win a championship. It kind of colors it a little bit differently, but like, everybody's so in a rush, like, instant gratification. It's like, maybe just take a beat, really assess. Like, if you go through your decision-making process and it still comes to, you know what, we should move on, cool. But if it's just like a reaction to the results,
I agree wholeheartedly.
It's like,
I got 2 things. One, with Bud, a lot of people, I'll speak for myself. I said the championship saved this job.
It did. I mean, yeah.
So it's kind of been a long time coming kind of thing, but at the same time, I don't disagree with your point. 2, I feel like a lot of people are like, I'm cool with this coach. I don't want this coach. I'm cool with this coach. But if it was any other season without a multitude of these high-profile coaches available, I don't think people will have that same effect of feeling. They'll be like, oh, shit, we fired Bud, but Doc Rivers is available. I mean, if he was, like, really the only good coach available, you'd be like, you know what? Fuck it. We'll take Doc. But because you have the Montes, you have the Actises available, you have the
Vogels,
you have these high-profile coaches,
championship winning coaches,
coach of the year winning coaches available. And if Ime would have waited a little bit, he ain't probably have to go to Houston.
I think he wanted to go to Houston, probably.
I'm just saying, like,
for non-basketball reasons,
he would have been in this carousel as well,
Yeah.
though. You know what I'm saying? Like, we would have been like, man, shit, Ime available. We could probably want Ime. Like, because there's so many high-profile coaches available, it's kind of like,
because everybody's on that same time of like, if it ain't working, you out the door.
I mean, I don't want to go too deep, but it's kind of like relationships where it's like everybody sees like all the different options that they got now. It's like, oh man, maybe the grass is a little bit greener on the other side.
Normally,
and then you break up, and then you be like out here, and it's like, ooh, like
I see one strand of grass, bro.
right.
It wasn't a whole field, goddamn. Yeah.
It's like the Bucks coach. Like I'm glad that they were very thorough in their search. Like it sounds like they had a good process for once. But at the same time, like when we were getting the names of the people that they were interviewing, it's like y'all jumped out without a parachute. Like I could see if it was one thing where it's like, okay, like we're gonna get rid of Bud, but like we got this ace in the hole, like where it's like, oh yeah, we know we moving on to Monty, or we can get Ty Lue out of LA.
Ooh, I was hoping we could get Ty Lue out of LA. That was my
like if there was an obvious like pivot point where it's like, okay, there's a coach that's on the market or will potentially be on the market that kind of gives us something different than what we're looking for, but like we've already identified that, like just leaving the relationship with Bud without really like a next step really.
No succession plan.
It's like they just felt like it was time, and maybe it was. I mean, maybe like they went through, like you said, the process, and they were like, this locker room needs a new voice, or it could be, like we said before, this roster is going to be what it is, and they're not responding to this voice anymore. Our only option with what we have here is to get rid of the coach. But again, like I just don't like how quickly coaches are getting fired in this NBA. I just wanted to make that point. No. But to your point about a coach being out there that can just fit you perfectly, and you're like, this is the plan here. Detroit Pistons. They got their man. They signed Monty Williams to a 6-year, $78.5 million deal, and that deal could reach up to $100 million in 8 years based on team options and incentives, because they wanted Monty that bad. I ain't never heard a coach get in a bag like that in my life. But they said, like, with where we are, they had some candidates, because Charles Lee, the assistant in Milwaukee, is one of the finalists for that Detroit job. And I was like, that could be a good fit for him. He can grow the team. Woo. But when someone like Monty becomes available, who is known to be a culture setter, who can work with young talent, help develop and take you somewhere else, like,
talk to DeAndre Ayton about that.
I mean, now, but like when he got to Phoenix, remember how bad Phoenix was when he got there?
No, I understand. I'm just saying, like, the young players, they don't all have glowing reviews.
Yeah, he can't bat 100 here, but
what he in New Orleans before?
No, right before,
but he was in New Orleans before.
Head coaching spot.
But like, it's a fit where you're like, this hire makes so much sense for this franchise where they are, the roster construction. When I saw that, I was like, I get it. And Monty said no to them at first.
Which, I mean, like, granted, like, Monty's a good dude. Like, I'm not casting aspersions that way, but it's just like, if somebody was like, I don't want this job, and you just kept throwing money at him, like, fine, fuck it, I'll take it. Like, is that really like,
what's your number? You gotta give me a
you probably made it
rotational player contract.
Look at his wife. What you think? $100 million. Can y'all do that? We'll come back to you. Next thing you know.
Yeah.
You want that cash or check or crypto? Cash, check, or crypto?
You got cash out?
I got Zelle. But yeah, I think that's a good hire for Detroit.
Yeah, that really cool. I don't want it in my backyard, but it's gonna make it fun around here.
Yeah, I mean, like, ultimately, I always root for everybody to kind of be, except for the Celtics. I root for everybody to be like functional, and like I want the young players in the league to be successful. Yeah. So it's like anything that kind of helps foster growth in that way is like, it's good with me. Like, we got Giannis. Like, I'm not really concerned about anything, anybody else too much. So yeah, like, that's good for Detroit.
Yeah. And they're bringing Steven Silas with them too, as an assistant.
Which I had forgotten about, but like after his father passed, like they used to play the Suns, and like there was like a really nice embrace between the two.
Monty and him,
so I'm glad that Steven Silas could bounce back, because I feel like he got railroaded in.
That was Houston. A no-win situation for him in Houston.
Like
Houston has had a history of hiring black coaches and putting them in bad predicaments, haven't they?
Well, I mean, like and like I'm not defending the organization, but like I put that on James Harden and Russell Westbrook. They were the one, like they had a finalist, like kind of like the Bucks situation where it's like, like they have 3 finalists, they meet with the star players sign off or advocate for a guy. They advocated for Steven Silas, and then 2 weeks into the season,
they left.
Like, or 2 weeks before the season, I should say, like, get me the fuck out of here. It's like, bro, this dude, y'all, like, if y'all gonna do that, just like hire Jeff Van Gundy, like somebody that, you know what I mean? Like, it's his first coaching job. Like, why would you put that on him? Like, I get it. Like, you gotta do what's best for you, but at the same time, like,
they served him up.
There's a level of responsibility that you have as the best player, and you just got this dude's job, and then you're gonna automatically like put him in a position where he can't win. And like that was coming off the bubble where like the players are like, yo, we need more black coaches. We need more black coaches. And then you put a black coach in a position to where like his name is gonna be mud after this because like he has to sit and put all these losses on his permanent record.
Yeah.
They're gonna be like, hey, you know, like next time Steve Silas is up for a head coaching job, well, he was terrible in Houston. He, you know, sub 300 winning percentage and blah blah blah. It's like
Circumstances.
you could have left me where I was at, man. Like,
and I did mention this already as well, but the Phoenix Suns are hiring Frank Vogel as their new head coach. And at first I was like, didn't expect Frank Vogel to get that. But then I thought about it a little bit more and I was like, I mean, I guess he does have experience with Paul George and Indy. He had Davis and LeBron in LA. And I never thought Vogel was a bad coach. Like I said earlier, he was put in a position where it's like, what did you expect him to do with this team? When you know his coaching style, his profile, his schemes, and then you put Westbrook in here and y'all get rid of all the shooters. What did you expect to happen here?
To win.
And you saw what happened when they got rid of Westbrook and got shooters. They were able to make it to the Western Conference Finals. It was
I will say, so like when he got hired in LA, like they stuck Jason Kidd on his staff right away.
And who they put on it this time?
So now they done hired David Fizdale from Utah, and they hired the dude that was also a finalist for the job.
Oh yeah,
Kevin Young
on staff.
Made him the highest paid assistant coach in the league. Like if that ain't two coaches and waiting on your staff from day one, like I don't know what it is. Like Frank Vogel, and the fact that Frank Vogel took his job, but like Frank Vogel is the replacement for Monty Williams. And he's getting like a fraction of what Monty Williams is getting.
Ain't nobody getting that money.
Ooh.
Ain't nobody getting that money. But yeah,
Wow,
that's a good.
contract.
Hey, at least Frank Vogel's used to it. He's coached under these conditions before with a coach in the wing.
I mean, if you have to choose between like another Lakers type situation or another Orlando type situation,
Like that Lakers one.
right? Like beggars can't be choosers.
Right. Some assistant coaching news. Sam Cassell has agreed to join the Boston Celtics coaching staff. He spent the last 3 in Philly under Doc Rivers. James Borrego has agreed to become the New Orleans associate head coach. He spent 4 seasons in Charlotte as their head coach. And Kevin Ollie is joining the Brooklyn Nets as an assistant coach. And Ollie was a finalist for the Pistons job. Clearly, Monty took that. So he's over there in Brooklyn now. Golden State's Bob Myers, 2-time executive of the year and pretty much the architect of that dynasty, is stepping down as the franchise's president and GM.
He threw the next two. Hey.
Yeah, he said, y'all can deal with this. I built this. My time is done.
You can choose what you want to do with Clay and Draymond. I'm not having that conversation.
I don't want to do it.
I'm not going to be the one to tell Steph that we moving on. I'm not going to be the one.
I want them to remember me
Right.
as the one who put them together.
Right.
Damn, he
Kept
really
them
did
together.
leave the crew. Dang.
Yes.
When he trying to promote his sons?
The owner.
Oh, the owner.
Oh, the owner. I don't remember Bob Myers having kids in there.
No, so like his son is expected. So Lakers owner, Jesus
Golden
Christ.
State.
Warriors owner is Joe Lacob, right? Joe. Anyway, Lacob. His son
Sound right.
Kirk is expected to take a more prominent role in the front office. He's been in the front office for the last couple of years, but he's expected to take very Alice Ladsbury-ish. But he's expected to take a more prominent role, and then Mike Dunleavy Jr. is also.
I did see his name listed with them. I used to really like Mike Dunleavy when he played for the Bucks.
Shout out NBA Reddit. Fuck Mike Dunleavy.
Yeah.
The Bucks subreddit do not fuck with him. Like that's like a
Is it after the Bulls?
Mhm.
Oh, yeah.
It's like a secret
Secret hate club.
Well, it's kind of in the same vein of like Bucks and Six. It's kind of like a secret handshake type deal. FMD. If you ever see that one, like that one.
Me up on some games.
That's funny.
The Clippers general manager Michael Winger, he was named the president of Monumental Basketball, and I was like, "What is that even mean?" But that gives him full leadership of all things professional basketball in DC. So he's overseeing the NBA's Washington Wizards, the WNBA's Washington Mystics, and the G League team.
Sheesh.
All of them.
That's a cold name though. The Capital City Go-Go.
That's a fact.
Like that and Memphis Hustle, like those are two.
Memphis Hustle is my
top
favorite
tier.
G League team name, and they got like their uniforms too for the Hustle.
Mhm.
But yeah,
So,
so
you know how much work that is?
yes,
I'm
You
like, bro,
overseeing
you 3 leagues?
3.
Holy sh! You gotta trust your staff. Good lord,
You better have a good one.
you gotta have a great one. Shit, 3?
3
Woo, my man's ain't never gonna be at the crib.
monumental basketball. So yeah, and then the Clippers they promoted Trent Redden to GM and Mark Hughes to their senior VP assistant GM to fill that vacancy left by Michael Winger.
Oh, they just be like throwing titles at people. Like back in my day, he was a GM. Like that was the guy. Now you got presidents of basketball operations. You got executive VP of acquisition,
Purchasing and sales and marketing, and social media. Like 15 of you motherfuckers.
Question for y'all: who's the GM of the Toronto Raptors?
Isn't it Usai Ujiri?
See,
left,
he the
didn't
president. Like Bobby, that's what I'm saying. Like they just throw, like they give people promotions and they give them new titles, but essentially like Masai is the top decision maker for Toronto, but technically their GM is Bobby Webster.
Does he do a job?
Right. Like
does Bobby do any work?
From what I understand, like it's more. I won't get too far into the weeds, but like basically, like Bobby Webster is the one that goes out and like makes the calls and like does the negotiation.
So
and
he's
footwork.
his lackey.
And then, like he brings it to Masai. And Masai's like yes or no.
He does the blue collar, and then Masai does.
He's a lackey.
Yeah.
Well,
But it's essentially like he's the assistant GM like
Pretty
under a
much, yeah,
normal
yeah. Another-
basketball structure.
That's why I asked, does he do it? But yeah, hell, somebody got to do it.
Like he's the like Milt Wagner is the assistant GM for the
the
Bucks. Like him and Bobby Wagner are basically the same, but like Bobby Webster has a higher title functionally.
All right, man.
That's what I'm saying. Like it's just like whenever somebody like flirts with a different team, and then it's like, oh, you just got to pay me more. It's like then they get a bump up of their title, and then they become
Supreme Overlord, ruler of the world and
There
shit.
you go.
But you still the GM.
But also,
Don't
like,
worry. Don't worry.
You just overruled this world here.
So, y'all want to talk about John Moran or Kyrie Irving first?
we can wallow in the mud a little bit.
Water on the mud. We'll go to
Which one is that?
Ja.
mean?
it's the Flash.
Let's go, Ja.
Adam Silver made a statement about John Morant. He said, quote, "We've uncovered a fair amount of additional information. We probably could have brought it to a head now, but we've made the decision that it would be unfair to these players and these teams to announce that decision in the middle of this series." He's, of course, referring to the NBA Finals.
This is the first teaser trailer of an NBA suspension in history.
Oh, we're going to get his ass, but we can't do it right now. But we just letting y'all know
So
later
don't
on.
Right, like stay tuned.
That's called a tease,
Just
ladies
wait.
and gentlemen. I saw that John Morant's camp has come out and said that was a toy gun.
Boy,
That's even worse.
why are you riding around with a toy gun like it's real?
Well, not even that. Like you
What you
got the
got it
heat
for?
on you got the heat on you from the first gun incident. Like you just making fun of it at that point. Like with a toy gun. Like I mean, the real gun is bad, but
the logic just doesn't.
like if you got it on you for self defense or for protection purposes, that's one thing. But if you just playing around with a toy gun, especially after Tamir Rice, like what we doing here? Like, that do not make it any better. And if anything, I suspend your ass longer just for being dumb. Like it's a stupidity tax. On
He said it's a toy gun.
They wildin'. That first statement they
I
put
just did
out,
finger guns.
that was the goal.
They were doing finger guns before the gun came out. You didn't even need
Did you
it.
see
We
the
got
TikTok
the
with him?
point.
They had him like he was doing the shooting thing. They actually had gun sounds behind it and shit. I'm like, dog, hey.
Y'all know that video of the little boy who got the gun? He's like, ah! Every time I see him, I'm like, yeah, that's Ja. That's Ja at this point.
The funny one I saw was from what was that movie The Rock did with Get Shorty?
Be cool.
Be cool.
When it's
There you
Andrew 3000, like, well, don't give me no gun.
Don't
then.
give me no gun then.
Daboo. You know what I'm gonna do with it.
Don't give me no gun. Then he turned his little leg to the side. I don't want it no more. So stay tuned, ladies and gentlemen, to see how many games Ja gets. Let's take a bet here. How many games do y'all think Ja's gonna get for this?
The number I keep saying is 30.
I was saying 20 before Adam Silver said something. So 30 makes sense.
35-47. Somewhere around there.
We gonna see, ladies and gentlemen. And also, as mentioned, Kyrie Irving is in the news because apparently he reached out to the Lakers star LeBron James to see, like, hey, bro, you want to come to Dallas and make a big three here? Which, with the new cap stuff,
It's pretty much impossible.
big three. How?
Motherfucker, you ain't even signed there. How you recruiting me? You ain't even got a contract over there. So you don't know what you finna do. You free, but I should come over there.
I could see LeBron signing and Kyrie be like, you know what? I'm actually gonna go to Phoenix or something weird, and you'd be like, why did we do all
With
this?
your
to
fate.
begin with? But the thing with it is, like, if Kyrie really wants to play with LeBron, the cleanest avenue to do that is in LA.
Just sign with LA.
But apparently LA's like, I don't know.
Not for no big money.
But he want big money.
Sorry for you.
Big money.
Sorry for you. Every time they gave you big money, you done flip the fuck out. We ain't got time for your foolishness. We'll give you a little bit here. You do a lot of work there. We'll talk about the rest later.
Well, I don't even think it's necessarily the big money part of it. I think it's just the years. Like, I'm pretty sure everybody will give them a max for a year because
Or
that's
two.
a low risk. Like, like I'm saying, like everybody will give them a max for 1 year. A few less will give them a max for 2 years. Nobody's giving them a max for three
There
or
had to be
four.
team options for 3 and 4,
Right.
maybe 2.
Dallas might be one of the only teams to do so. They are that desperate.
Because they knew they messed up.
Shells in the comments said Kyrie was going to get Bron and Dallas, then sign with LA. Again, it feels Kyrie-ish to do something like that.
And like, it's like I know why they did because it gets clicks, but it's like that's the dumbest thing to fucking report because it's like there's no feasible way for it to even happen
It's
mechanically.
very improbable.
Like the biggest part being that Dallas ain't got shit to try it for LeBron James.
They have nothing that LA would want. And it doesn't make sense because, one, if you know the Lakers franchise, they are here to win championships.
And
Lakers
keep
don't
stars.
care nothing about no rebuilding. They want stars. Why would they trade the greatest basketball player of his generation when he can still actively help them win a championship?
Where Mike Malone at? Talk about Denver. Where is he at? Y'all pulling straws, bro.
Why would LeBron, who has built everything up to being in LA for the last 7-8 years, like midway through his Cleveland tenure, he's
He
like
started playing
plotting
in LA,
to get to LA. His kids are in LA. Ronnie just
going to USC.
committed to USC.
He's in
Why
acting.
would he just throw all that out?
Right.
Because
Got a
Kyrie
production
said,
company.
"Hey, come to this team I've been with for 3 months."
And come play with
And we
Luka.
tanked on purpose.
Come play with Luka, who played just like you,
Mm.
and y'all both gonna want the ball. But like,
He needed more though. We'll hit you in the
and
corner.
don't forget, I need the ball too.
Make sure you do that little look down thing because that's the only time you gonna get the ball. Look down and shoot.
We ain't got nobody else on the team if you come.
At all
You gotta play defense.
during the regular season.
It's gonna be you, me, Luka, and a bunch of G leaguers.
All 82. You need 10 toes.
And come to fucking Texas,
Ain't no state tax.
but also
From 13% to none.
Make a difference when you're making multi-millions.
That's about the only thing going right now.
That's probably why Kyrie was like, "You want to come here?"
You see my check?
also ultra liberal LeBron James in Texas.
That's again, the only thing he got going is that ain't no state tax. Everything else,
Ain't working in his favor.
that's too many cons, bro.
I also
You know what I mean? Sorry, never mind.
Woo! I just want to point out, we've been recording this episode for about an hour now. We are just now talking about Kyrie because NBA show. This is where he should be in the slate.
Yeah,
It should not be leading off topic.
no,
There's a finals going on.
yeah. We talked about you, Mike.
He don't like being called Mike. Remember, it's Michael.
Michael. I'm
Coach-
sorry.
Coach Mike- Coach Mike
I do
Malone.
apologize. I forgot about that fast.
To
Coach
be
Mike.
fair, there are differences between Mikes and Michaels. Have you noticed that? Guys who go by Mike are different than guys that go by Michael.
Let me think about it real quick. Hold on.
Think about it. Just take a second. Mikes are different than Michael. I do just want to say that.
I feel like Michaels are meaner.
I mean Jordan.
Michaels are more stern, more grounded.
Mike's fun.
Mike's right. The Mikes be all over the damn place.
Mike Tyson, Michael Jackson. Then they call him Mike Jackson. What's his name? Mike.
Michael Jordan was Mike Jordan in college.
Then
Everybody
he
wants to
grew
be
up.
like Mike.
Then he went to the NBA and got mean. Mike. Uncle Michael, do you feel that way?
Listen.
too? I know you listen.
He's the most grounded, stern.
Yeah. Uncle Michael's fun.
The
though.
Michaels.
I give it to him though.
Wow, that's Michael.
That's Mike.
I call them both Michael, but people do call my cousin Michael Mike more often than
I
I
was gonna
hear.
say, like, what is he in the streets?
Mike.
Actually, I don't know. He listening. Let us know.
Right, let us know.
My uncle Michael, when he had his job on the force, they called him Mike.
I've noticed that, like,
He's probably a wild boy.
no, because like my uncle's name is, we call him Uncle Sonny, but like his name is James, and like only his cop friends call him Jim. I'm like, how? Black Jim? Like, okay.
I don't.
They probably
actually know
called
any
him Black Jim.
I mean, he's like 80, so like, yeah, it's definitely it was probably nigga Jim. Like,
Yeah.
if we want to be for real,
Yeah.
like on the police force back in the 70s, like, nah, you nigga Jim.
Oh boy,
Talk to Jim. Which one?
nigga Jim. Oh yeah. What about him?
Yeah.
All right. Moving on.
In conversations that would get us canceled.
Okay, the NBA's competition committee is discussing a potential in-game penalty for flops that would result in tech foul throws. The trial is
I mean, I
possible
don't
for
know.
Summer League in July.
I give you one clap because
I mean,
It's something.
I'm tired of the fucking floppers,
I mean,
bro.
you know, they fine people for flopping for like half a season and then that went away. So it's like
I was really
Yeah,
wondering
start.
where that went.
you can have as many rules as you want. It comes down to enforcement.
When the playoffs start, don't worry about it. Regular season, we gotta get that. We gotta get that money. So I don't mind the again something to kind of
It feels like optics to me.
if they enforce it, if they stand on it, it could help.
Also, like as much criticism as referees get, which is undue, because like for the most part, like they're really good at their jobs.
Of course.
Like the stuff that they catch is like I didn't even see that shit, and
How
then they
did you
slow
see
it down
that?
and be like, oh yeah, man, he's right. But like, do you really want to put more on the referees, like in the discretion categories? Like, was that you? Because like then you're legislating intent. It's like how can you like some of them are blatant flops, but
the
sometimes
blatant
like,
was just called though.
sometimes like it's just like I exaggerated for effect, but like it was a foul. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I mean, if you gonna give me the call, give me the call. But if it's exaggerate, like
but I mean, like, okay, like a pure flop is just like you ride
Marcus
somebody's
Smart
hip
joints.
and then you just like fall back. Like, yeah, that's easy as fuck
Dylan
to call,
Brooks.
and like they don't really call that now. Like, they don't really get tricked on stuff like that. It's
I hate
when
that
it's
shit.
like, you know, you kind of like slide in when there actually is a little bit of contact, and then you just like you fall back way more violently than you know, like.
or like somebody hit the ball and you flopping in the air and shit. Like
Well, I'm saying like that's like that's a flop, and that like people usually
by
don't call
definition,
that.
yeah.
No. But I'm talking about like like you jostling in the paint, or like Giannis come down in the paint
Right.
and like go up for a
He
layup,
tap
and like he gets you, but it's like not to the point where it's just like you drop like a sack of potatoes. Like
Yeah. But I mean,
it's like, is that a flop or is that just like an embellishment to make sure that you see like the contact?
it should be on both sides though. Because offensively, yeah, cats be flopping on offense just to get that call.
Again, is it a flop or is it an
I
embellishment?
mean, they stopped the Trae Young, cutting in front of the guy and then stopping on a
I
dime.
mean, that wasn't even a flop. Like that's just like putting yourself in harm's way.
I mean,
Like I spirit of the rule, like yeah, like you're not making a basketball play. You just like running in front of somebody and stopping.
and looking for a foul. You foul hunting.
Yeah.
And that's what I feel like flopping. I mean, flopping is just foul hunting too. So I feel
But
like
again,
it
it gets
go.
to intent. It's like, was he trying to fall down? And
You
all
know
that?
if he was trying to fall down.
Again, like we're talking about the blatant
We
ones,
watched
but
the
like
game
it's
for
like
years. You could tell when somebody like, bro, we done seen big dudes and push little cat, and we know he's supposed to go flying. But your big ass go flying because he even pushed you, and y'all the same size. Come on now, bro.
we'll see. I don't know. I
They'll
don't
test it
really,
in the G League in college.
we do need to do something about flopping, but like I don't know if that's necessarily the way to do it. It's like first of all, like these need pride, like.
And they all, most of them are in top physical shape, bro.
But again, at the same time, these are also ultra competitive people. So like if they can find any type of sliver of advantage, like they're gonna try to exploit it. So I get it. It's just it doesn't make for a good product. It's supposed to. The Arizona Cardinals have released wide receiver DeAndre Hopkins. Hopkins' future with the Cardinals has been in question since the end of the 2022 season because of his team-high $30.75 million cap hit, which ranked tops among wide receivers in the NFL, and 7th highest overall.
Oh boy!
By releasing Hopkins now, the Cardinals will save $8.5 million in cash space in 2023, but are set to take a dead cap hit of $22.6 million. But he'll be off their books for the 2024 season. Buffalo Bills, Baltimore Ravens, and New England Patriots had been among teams reportedly interested in pursuing Hopkins. On a recent appearance of the I Am an Athlete podcast, free agent wide receiver DeAndre Hopkins listed the 5 quarterbacks he most would like to catch passes from. Josh Allen of the Bills, the Eagles, Jalen Hurts. Huh?
No.
Oh, sorry. The Eagles, Jalen Hurts. The Chiefs, Patrick Mahomes, Ravens, Lamar Jackson, and Chargers.
Well, there's some synergy between those teams there. Buffalo and Baltimore.
Buffalo's out. Well, last time I checked in on this, Buffalo was out. But when I heard the news that he got released, the first thing I said was he should sign with Baltimore. Like, as soon as I heard, I was like, oh, he should go to Baltimore.
Him and OBJ.
Him, OBJ, Bateman, and they picked up one more. Oh, and Andrews is still there.
They still do got Mark
So, like, they would actually have a pretty decent receiving core now.
Yeah.
Like,
Hopkins ain't what he was 2 years
he
ago.
can still run.
But he is still a good wide receiver.
I will say, I ask this question every time a big name
Yeah.
hits the free agent market. Is he more of a name, or is he still?
He still had like 700 yards last year.
He missed.
Damn.
I mean, he
missed like a nice
half
chunk of the season
because he had the PED.
Yeah, he had like 770 with like 8-9 games missing. And he was suspended for 6. So like,
But I mean, I guess my question again, like
It's a fair question to ask.
but he can still play. Yeah,
to her point, like he's not the same player he
He's
was
not.
2 years ago. But like, what percentage of that player, I guess, is he
he
now?
still probably get like 70%. 70% D Hop compared to a 60% OBJ compared with a Mark Andrews at 100%, who's really good. On top of a 100% Lamar Jackson, you have a decent enough, dynamic enough offense where you can get the ball to somebody for one. You go get some hand. You got hands on the team now because neither one of them motherfuckers really dropping shit. You have some veteran presence to help Bateman come along. Mark Andrews is now a vet, but he's a superb tight end. He's going to be your safety net.
This may sound like a dumb question, but is that too many mouths to feed?
No, not where Hopkins and OBJ is in their careers now. If you said that 2 years ago, yes.
Do they know that?
I think so at this point. And
I think they were.
Wayne's in the comments, he said that D Hop is still going to be a great possession wide receiver. And that is absolutely true.
You get that up too. He's still a red zone threat too. Like I said, he still runs, so it ain't like he gonna burn everybody, but he still get past.
And Tim was it's actually DeAndre Hopkins' birthday today.
Oh, happy birthday!
He just turned 31.
Damn.
And you were right. He had 717 yards last season. He played 9 games.
Like he would have easily had about. He was on pace for like 1,500.
Yeah,
that's some. He can still play. It's just they didn't want that money no more.
And then he was injured last year, and then this year he had the PED thing. So it was like this money ain't adding up.
And they changing directions kind of.
They
like,
changed
we
it
rather
real quick.
rebuild. Just go ahead and get some new blood in here. Bye, bro. We'll take the hit. You off the books next year, anyways.
So it's kind of like that conversation we had about Russell Westbrook, where it's like Russ on a max is different from Russ on a min.
Mm-hmm.
I think they said he had OBJ money around like 15, which is part of the reason why he's still kind of
floating around.
But I wouldn't mind him in Green Bay either.
You wouldn't mind anybody in Green Bay.
he would be the veteran wide receiver that we would have
I'm
too.
just
though.
like, has there ever been a free agent that hit the market where you like, nah, I'm good on that?
The last couple of years, I've been more cool on that.
Have there been?
Do you have an example?
Anybody who's talented.
I was with everybody else with OBJ until he got hurt. I wanted him in Green Bay.
No, I'd say is there anybody that you haven't won?
But other than that, like it really hasn't been too many people I've wanted to come to Green Bay.
When JJ Watt was on the
no, I didn't ask him to come. I didn't want him to come to Green Bay like that. If he came on the minimum or something like that, sure. But I didn't really want JJ Watt in Green Bay.
Check the tape.
Go ahead, check the tape
on that one. But I feel you. The PGA Tour, the DP World Tour and LIV Golf League. DP World Tour.
Mm-hmm.
they all been battling each other in the courtroom for the last year, but now they said no more. We're gonna all merge and form a large corporate business together. And as part of the deal, the sides are all dropping their lawsuits involving LIV Golf against each other and the others affected immediately.
They just wanted a piece of the pie.
They just want the money.
Can you imagine being a golfer on the PGA Tour? Last year, LIV Golf comes to you.
That BS.
LIV Golf comes to you and be like, "Hey, we got $40 million up front.
And your morals
Tax
said
free.
no.
You got to sign it over here because it's tax free.
Come to death row." And you're like, "No, my morals and my patriotism will not allow me to take this blood money from the Saudi Arabian government and LIV Golf. I will stand with my morals and I will stay with the tradition that is the PGA Tour. This is the tour of Jack Nicklaus. This is the tour of Arnold Palmer. This is the tour of Tiger freaking Woods. Tiger is standing with the PGA. I'm standing with the PGA. We riding this thing out." 6 months later.
Right.
Now you done lost the bag and they in bed with him.
So you still getting paid by it.
What's
Except you're not getting that $40 million that they offered you.
exactly? You're gonna get what you was already getting before your morals said no to this blood money. On Twitter, Michael Scott Paper Company was trending, and I was like, why is Michael Scott Paper Company trending? And I clicked on it, and everybody was like, this whole PGA Tour and LIV Golf thing coming together reminds me of when Dunder Mifflin bought Michael Scott Paper Company back. We're like, same, like, what are y'all doing here?
All that hoopla,
For nothing.
all that media, all that coverage, all that time, all that down talking
lawsuits,
crazy
all the-
lawsuits, spending ample amount of time, and all you wanted was some of that money.
Here they are.
You can't be the only ones.
Fam, golfers are waking up today going like, what?
And a lot of them said they found out on Twitter like
They
everybody
did.
else.
No, they did.
Like, what? Like you said, imagine just being that guy. Like, dog, what?
The fuck you mean?
His friends was in the group chat immediately like, you stupid.
Like all them dudes coming back in the PGA, like it's poor people around. That's like the fifth.
Congratulations, you
Chappelle
played
show.
yourself, bro.
I don't really have much. You summed it up perfectly. I don't have anything else to add to that. Last but not least, for our topic discussion here today, EA Sports college football video game will let players earn NIL money from their likeness. So the players who opt in will receive comp, and the amount of which has not been finalized, and those who don't opt in will have a generic name and avatar in their place.
Why did I think? I'm stupid. I thought it was like, dynasty mode. I'm like, wait, they gonna like offer you NIL? Like, why would I want that? In
Not real
video
life.
game? Like, right? I didn't even go to like
He
the
went
player.
deep, like, oh man, I could
Right,
really boost
like
up
that's
my
a real.
franchise.
Right, that's
my franchise program in
Right.
college. Yeah, that's what's going on with that. And like y'all said, I'm still waiting for this game to come out
Next year.
They've been saying
They
next
got
year
it
for the last
They got
5
it for the
years.
24. They got the 24 release.
Well, we'll see.
Allegedly.
Quote unquote.
That's all we got for y'all this week, y'all. We appreciate y'all coming through. Again, send well wishes again. Just feeling under the weather. And let's see. What's on my heart for parting words this week? Oh, I know. One, a quick blow to whistle to companies that still make women's pants without deep pockets. Why are y'all doing this? My hand can't even fit in some of my pants pockets. It's unbelievable. To the point where if I put an AirPod case in some of my pockets, the top is like poking out. Why can we not get pockets?
Dude, I'm gonna create a business that just like extends women's
Dog,
pockets.
it's the cutest thing because they all get the little pockets and they put their hands in it right away.
Because we're not used to getting deep pockets.
It'd be so I'm like every time I see, look at the pockets.
And if you had y'all, you don't understand because y'all
I
pockets
know,
are
but that's
so
what
deep.
I find it cute because if like as soon as y'all get pockets, y'all throw your hands in them.
It shouldn't be a luxury.
We don't infantilize.
You got it, boss.
Too many words.
That's one word.
Too many of them.
Oh boy, what's live say here? Corner of the market's like that one company with zippers.
YKK. Is that it? Like, anybody got jeans on? What does it say on your zipper? Does it say YKK?
Does it say YKK?
Mine has a little
It
eagle.
does
on
say YKK. That's
But-
funny.
Yeah, I wanted to get that off my chest because it's been bothering me. I have a pair of pants I wore recently, and I got really mad that I couldn't put my keys in my pockets.
Huh.
I had to just carry them, and I was
You had a
really
little
mad.
jingle.
Just walking around like a janitor.
Yeah, man, that's a business idea. Don't nobody steal it. Pocket extender.
Y'all got belt loops. They get you a little clip. No,
It's not just about the keys.
Why would I want to walk around with my keys on my pant
they,
loop?
they still jangling no matter what.
Can't put a wallet in there.
Well, look how big these phones are now.
Where's you supposed to put that?
The back pocket.
We always put our phones in our back pockets, and it still pokes out.
I was saying, like, half that phone is out in the back pocket.
I know,
Like, that's not even like, you know,
but I just wanted to get that off my chest.
physically.
I've been thinking about it for a while. I've been wanting to say it on this show. And then I'll leave just parting wisdom. I've been seeing on my timeline been a lot of grief, a lot of loss in the city here. And whenever we see loss, especially when it's unexpected, young lives, the message that's always parroted out is, you know, love on your people, check on your people, you never know, tomorrow's not promised, woo. And we all say that and we understand the importance of it, but we should all get into a better habit and practice of telling people how much we care about them and appreciate them. And not just when bad things happen, just thinking about them. If someone comes to mind, normally they came to your mind for a reason. You should reach out to them. Even if you haven't spoken to them in a long time, just, hey, popped on my mind, just wanted to reach out. How are you doing? Because that goes a long way. Normally, again, when someone pops up on your mind and on your spirit, it's a reason for it. And they probably need to hear from you in that moment. So I want to leave y'all with that and also take this moment just to send out appreciation. Is it Father's Day this weekend? Next weekend? I'll save that for next weekend. But for this week, I want to say, Ken, you're not here. Brother, I love you. We have been friends since, my God, we were children. Friends out here, I appreciate you. From the fro to the locks. It's been a long journey, bro, but you've always been there for me. You are somebody who can always put a smile on my face. You make me laugh. I am thankful for you. I don't even know if you don't ever hear this because you don't listen.
Question. How would you react to a low cut Ken?
If you just walked in with one
If he just walked in with like Tim haircut.
I'd be shocked. I wouldn't know
Man,
what to do.
I'll hop on his ass real quick.
Pause.
Hey, you have to peel me off of that motherfucker.
Pause again, granddad. But I'll say that, Tim, I love you. I've been calling you my brother-in-law, even like, and people believe me now at this point.
That's funny.
Yeah, like pretty much basically, like you are one of my best male friends. I am thankful for you. I love you. I love you. This man's out here in the comments talking about meats and meat.
Never mind. Leave it alone.
You make me laugh, but you are also one of the most loyal people. Right. Most loyal dudes I've ever met. I'm thankful for you. Man, listen. We really became friends like thanks to Twitter and living near each other, which is kind of dangerous when you think about how the friendship started. But I am very appreciative of you. You have always been somebody who I'll look to as a source of logic and reason. You've helped me get through some things where I can just throw it at you and be like, what do you think about this? And he will take all sides of it and give some really good advice. So I appreciate you. I love you. Dooch, I love you too, brother. You are actually, I'm not just saying this either. You are one of my favorite current rappers, fam. Like, you don't even know. Like, I had a terrible day a couple weeks ago, and I was driving home, and Keep On came on my shuffle. And it felt like Duke was really just sitting here telling me in a moment, like, hey, keep going on, my nigga. Like, you good. You cool.
Just in the backseat, rubbing your shoulder.
Right. Like, I love you. I love y'all so much. I'm thankful for y'all. I just wanted to show my podcast brethren some love here this week in particular.
Appreciate it. Love you too.
Start calling out people in the comments like, Slide.
Oh,
I fuck
Slide,
with
no.
you, dog.
Slide already know how I feel about him. We've been friends since high school. Like, that's a brother. Dwayne wanted Tim drop.
Dwayne, where did you come from, bro?
I'm gonna put it in my phone.
No, don't. What? Pause. Don't put that in your phone.
But that's why I wanted to end the show with some love. It's been dark, so I wanted to end it with some love for my brothers on this podcast. Next week, I'll shout out my father figures and all that stuff for Father's Day. But we're going to get out of here this week. Wrapped it up in under an hour and a half. It's a pretty good time in there.
It's not bad.
If you want to follow me on social media, you can catch me.
Wait a minute.
On Twitter, Instagram, Apple Music. these PSN, 2K, and Hogwarts streaks at Camille Monet, CAMILLEMONAE.
I ain't done this in a while.
Yeah.
Bucks Burner on Twitter.
That's all you get.
That's all you get.
Ken's not here this week, as we said. Get well soon, brother. K Harris 216 on which one? Was it Twitter? No, it's not his Twitter. Is it? Yeah, his Twitter. Everyday_gentleman on the Snapchat and the Instagram.
Guess it's my turn, huh? And it's your boy, TIMKINZ, the number 3, aka Ask Ketchum, aka Mr. Give It To Me. You guys have a great week, fantastic morning, and a wonderful night.
So proper this.
Dilly.
Dillon.
Dilly.